Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Wayne's World of Science and Technology. Today, we're going to talk about the Russo-Ukrainian War and the Ukrainian kinetic sanctions on Russian oil and the impacts they're having. I've been hearing some interesting things from Central Asia. Kazakhstan, back in February, enforced a fuel export ban. Now, they shipped surplus volumes of gasoline to Uzbekistan in the spring before things kicked off. It was August when Ukraine started making the hits, but scheduled maintenance at refineries, okay? Thing is, they're reporting cross-border smuggling as a possible contributing factor to shortages, and that Uzbekistan had increased purchase of Kazakh gasoline. The Ministry of Energy says there's no exports taking place. So, interesting. Meanwhile, Uzbekistan's state energy company says they're going to phase out AI-80 gasoline. Only higher octane gasoline will be supplied to align with international fuel standards. Interesting. Anyway, let's go over to the next one. Northern Kazakhstan faces gas shortages. Now, this is dated October the 30th, day before Halloween. Some stations, they say, have completely run out, and others are selling fuel only through a coupon system. So, officials are claiming in the southern districts no shortage has been recorded. And they're saying there repairs an oil refinery. Yep. Quite possible, but it's also quite possible that things are just a little bit short in the area because the main oil producing region of Russia is experiencing a fuel crisis. And you notice this is Kyrgyzstan's news source. According to data, gasoline prices in the region are rising at a rate that outpaces inflation. Gas stations are reporting delays in fuel deliveries and restrictions on its dispensing. The stabilization of prices at the end of summer turned out to be only temporary before upcoming problems since the beginning of autumn. Buddhists in the region have been unable to adapt to the changes in prices at gas stations. So in other words, you've got price increases of various ranges. Second. Failure of obligations, the department explained. Oh boy, in other words, we're finding excuses wherever we can. We're definitely not going to say any Ukrainian drones did anything. Fuel shortages in Kyrgyzstan. Oil traders unable to provide forecasts. That's dated the 10th of October. So, they're saying that they're taking measures. I wonder what measures they're taking. Are they opening new refineries? That'd be a trick. Takes time to build refineries. Oil refineries in Russia were closed for scheduled maintenance while others were damaged in drone attacks. Okay. Definitely infecting them there. This is Reuters, just saying that strikes on Russian refiners drive a fuel price increase in Tajikistan. Go away. Russia's ban on energy exports exposes Central Asia's dependence on Moscow. You know, I'll bet a lot of these guys right now are really, really wishing that they'd invested in a little bit more clean energy infrastructure. Wind energy. Useful stuff. And finally, Russia's fuel crisis spills into Central Asia. Another report from Radio Free Europe. Now, I've also heard that Mongolia has been impacted. Mongolia, of course, has no sea borders. Their only two borders are with China and Russia, so the only way to get oil into the country is by pipeline or truck. I'm not actually sure how much Mongolia has in the way of production on their own, but I suspect right now that people in Mongolia are really thinking about this hard because this is dangerous. You cannot run a modern society without energy. And it's becoming obvious that relying on energy that has to be piped places is not a good idea, not from a defense perspective, nor from an economic perspective. Anyways, that's it for now, folks. Like, share, subscribe, and all that coffee gossip and others, and have a good day.